Good morning. So we're just going to continue on with triangle congruence concepts. Okay, so just a quick review. Again, the postulates or the ways that we prove triangles congruent are, and if we have all three sets of sides congruent, so SSS, we have two sides and an angle in between. We have two angles and a side in between, or two angles and a side not in between. Okay, so again, these are the postulates or the ways you can prove triangles congruent. So again, we're going to be looking at some of these examples from notes sheet number 2. Right, so again, we can only go by what we know for a fact. And again, we said these tick marks that are on these triangles, right, are telling us information. So here, I don't know if you can see, again, we have a single tick mark on one side from each triangle. We have this double tick mark on another side, and that's it. Right, so again, there's nothing else that is tick marked. There's nothing else that we can assume to be true. And because this is all we have, is just two sets of sides, right, we do not have enough to prove these two triangles congruent. Right, so it says determine two triangles are congruent, and we'll say not enough information. Okay, because we only have two sets of sides for each. Number 2, again, looking at the tick marks. Let me see if I can zoom in on this a little bit. Alright, so we see we have double tick marks on both triangles. We have an angle tick mark from both triangles. And we have this triple tick mark on sides from both triangles. And we notice that the arrangement of the tick marks are a side, an angle, and a side, where the angle is in between. Same arrangement here, side, angle, side. Okay. So because we have that given, we know that yes, these two triangles are congruent, so yes, they are congruent by side, angle, side. Number 3, we have an angle from each, a side from each, and another angle from each. And the way the arrangement is, we have two angles and a side where the side is in between the two angles. And again, that is enough information to say yes, they are congruent by angle, side, angle. Right? An angle, side, and an angle. Angle, side, angle. Number 4, here's our two triangles. We want to see what all is congruent in terms of parts. You see we have one angle from each, another angle from each, double tick mark, and that's it. Alright, now we talked about yesterday how if you have a big old X, right, that you can find vertical angles if needed. So again, I can mark up the triple tick mark that angle across from here, again vertical angles, as these two angles are congruent. So I'll mark those up with a triple tick mark. So thus giving us 3 sets of angles for each triangle. But we talked about yesterday that AAA, right, angle, 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 is not one of the postulates. Okay, so best we can do here is say not enough. Oop, got the word enough. Not enough info. Number 5, two triangles. I got one side from each. I got another side from each. And that's all we're given. So right now we would probably say there is not enough info. But again, we said that if there's a big ol' X, that you have the opportunity to mark up vertical angles, right? The angles that are across from each other in the X. So I'm going to go ahead and mark those up. Again, I was not given this initially, but we know that it's something that we can assume to be true because of the vertical angles property. And when we mark those up, now I have a side from each, an angle from each, another side from each. And the arrangement is side, angle, side. So we can say these two triangles are congruent by SAS. 6, one angle from each, a second angle from each, and a side. Alright, so we definitely have three things given here. Well, let's take a look at the arrangement. Angle, angle, side. Angle, angle, side. And that is a postulate, so we're going to say yes, they're congruent by AAS. Number 7, two triangles. Looking for the markings. I've got a double tick mark here and here. So we have one S. A triple tick mark here and here. That's the second side. So again, that's all we're given. But we can find a third part that's congruent. And we talked about yesterday towards the end of the lesson that when triangles share sides, right, these two triangles share that side, we can tick mark that. Again, because they share that side, we know that's the same for both. So that gives us 3 sets of sides tick marked from each of these triangles. So we're going to say yes, they are congruent by SSS. Alright, now we're going to move on to example number 8. Again, we're looking at the markings. We have one set of sides, a second set of sides, and then we've given these, right? These are not tick marks, right? They're little squares, right? They're not like these swooping arcs. These are squares. But we know that, hey, these are the symbols or notation for right angles. Right? And we know for right angles, they measure 90 degrees. So this angle is 90 degrees, and that angle is 90 degrees. So therefore, we know, hey, those two angles are congruent. They are the same. Right? But we're looking at the arrangement. Right? Well, we see two sides in an angle. Right? This is not SAS. Right? Because the angle that's marked up is not in between the two sides. Right? So again, it wasn't like this one. But see, here's the two sides, and here's the angle in between. Right? So we don't have this by SAS. But these two are congruent by a new postulate, which we're going to call HL. Okay? And what HL stands for is hypotenuse, leg. Right? And I hope you still remember what the word hypotenuse means. Hypotenuse is the long side of a right triangle. Both of these triangles are right triangles, right, because they have right angles. The hypotenuse is a side opposite the right angle. So we know that for both these right triangles, the hypotenuses are congruent. And we also know what a leg is just one of the other two sides. And we have a leg congruent from each. Okay, so while we don't have these two triangles congruent by SAS, we do have them by this new postulate called HL, hypotenuse leg. Alright, so again we look at number 9. You see the two triangles. Alright, they are both right triangles. So they have a right angle here, so we know we have an angle. We have these sides congruent from each triangle. And again, these two triangles share this side right in the middle. So I'm going to mark that up as a tick mark. And because this side is opposite the right angle, we know that's the hypotenuse. So both these triangles are congruent by, again, HL. Hypotenuse leg. Again, HL is only used for right triangles. You can't use that with anything else. Alright, number 10. You have a side from each. Another side from each. Okay, so that's all we're given, but again, we're looking at what else can we, they don't share any sides, but again, we have this big old X here, and so we can mark up these vertical angles. So again, now we need to look at the arrangements. We have two sets of sides and an angle. Here we have side, angle, side. And here we have side, side, angle. Okay, so while we do have the same tick marks, the arrangement is not the same for both triangles. Okay, so we're going to say not enough info. So we cannot say these two triangles are congruent. Alright, so I'm going to stop there for today. Alright, so go ahead, we'll finish up the rest of these notes here for tomorrow. Alright, but go ahead and get started on the homework worksheet number 2. Alright, for today's homework, just do up to problem number 10. Okay. Alright, so you guys have a great day.